Okay.
The stream is
Hey
live.
y'all. Let me go to our comments. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Straight Out the Group Chat. I feel like it's been a minute since I have been on here. Um, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure y'all comment, like, share, subscribe to the channel. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I think we're on TikTok, etc. So make sure y'all comment, like, share, subscribe. I got two powerful ladies on here with me tonight that are wanting to be open and share their stories. Demetria and Aisha. Again, we talked about it a few minutes ago, but I want to commend you ladies again for coming on here, being open, sharing your stories, and just walking in y'all power and walking in y'all's truth. So definitely want to commend y'all on that. So how y'all feeling tonight? Y'all feeling good, or
I'm
you can be
feeling
honest? This
good.
is a safe space. To be honest.
I'm feeling good today.
I'm
I'm feeling
feeling
good.
good. I'm feeling a little nervous, but it's okay.
Yeah, the nerves are there. The
Okay.
nerves are
Okay.
there.
There's good nerves.
Yeah, good nerves.
Okay. Well, good. I love it. I love to hear it. So we're gonna hop right into it. Do y'all got something y'all want to start us off with, or y'all want me to get right into the talking points?
Get right into it. Let's dive in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the first talking point is, how does bipolar disorder affect a person's ability to manage daily routines and responsibilities? And either one of y'all can answer first. There's no specific order. However, whatever, it's fine.
Okay. I just know for me, my personal, how it affected my days is like disinterest. No interest in anything, especially medicated. If we're talking medicated, like post bipolar diagnosis or pre diagnosis, after post, just no interest in anything. Like it takes a lot of effort to want to, live. I mean, like do anything.
Wow.
Yes. Like, to piggyback off of what you said, bipolar disorder basically be like, forget your daily plans, forget your routine.
Mm.
There, you don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
So it gives you, it's almost as if you are a prisoner of your own emotions.
Ooh,
Mm.
that's good. That's good. That's good. That wait right
Wow.
there.
Yeah. Uh,
Ooh, wow, that's heavy. So when you say you're a prisoner of your own emotions, it's like, so you're saying you don't.
You want me to explain?
Yeah, I want to hear it, cause
Okay,
yeah.
I will. So, like she said, you don't have the urgency to do anything.
Mm.
You don't want to do anything. It's almost like in your mind, you can have a whole list of things to do. You have a plan to be productive that day. But bipolar says, no, you don't. You're gonna stay in this bed.
Just
You're
Mm.
crippled.
gonna you're gonna have racing thoughts, or you're gonna, I don't know, be depressed. Like that's kind of, it's not it in a ball. I can't put it in a little ball,
Yeah.
but that's almost how it feels.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, so the second talking point is like, so to your point, Demetria, what you were saying is, what are the main differences between manic and depressive episodes, and how can they impact relationships?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
You
Are
want
you
to
talking?
start?
Are you taking this one or me? Or we
You can
both?
take it, and I can take the bag. How about that?
Okay. Well, the way it affects it, like relationships, right? Child. Okay, so one day, just the way the mood swings, and it's true. I know people like to say, "Oh, throw it out bipolar all the time." Well, she's one day this day, and the next minute she's that way. But like, it's deeper than that. When it comes to relationships, like one day you may be head over heels in love, ready to give it your all, and
Mm.
then the next day you have something that has triggered you or made you so deeply emotional to where you can barely get out the bed. And I'm not kidding you. I
Wow.
am not kidding.
Girl, you are on it 100%.
Yes, it
Baby,
can
I got,
be.
okay. I don't wait. I don't know. I want you to finish though.
But yeah, so just like and I don't know if people notice this, but like I don't think they do because people don't do their research. But
Yeah.
bipolar, my bipolar anyway, and what I've read on it and studied on it, it's seasonal. So
Mm.
I have my manic phases in the spring, summertime. The manic phases, if people don't know what manic bipolar, that's my diagnosis. If people don't know what manic bipolar is, it's basically like a full range of emotions, but how can I put this? Okay, I may be okay today, normal seems cool, coasting through life, and then the next day, everything is unbearable. It's just too much. I'm crying, I'm emotional, I'm screaming, I'm yelling, I'm having a fit. And then the next moment, I'm cool, I'm calm and collected. I'm somebody you would want to hang out with, somebody you would want to get to know, somebody. And it's like that. I think that's a big struggle too, because some people may meet you on certain parts of your journey and you're like one way this day, but if they see you on the next, it'd be like, oh no, but it's just, it's a lot.
So, okay. Because of this conversation, I had to bring out my papers because I was
Okay.
like, I really want people to understand what bipolar disorder is.
Okay.
So when she says manic, me and her have the same diagnosis.
Mhm.
I I have bipolar 1, and the difference between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 is bipolar 1, you're more manic and you do have depressive, like you have depression too.
Mhm.
But bipolar 2 is more on the depression side. You don't have hypermania, but it's traits of mania.
Mhm.
So it's
Oh
like
wow.
one is kind of worse than the other.
And then the mania, if people don't know what mania is, another word for mania is like, I hate to put this label on it, but like the definition, root definition is like deranged or insane, or like when you think of like the upside of like bipolar, because bipolar has an upside and a downside. So if you're floating towards the upper side, you'll be like so elated and joyful, but it's almost like scary. Like, why are you so happy?
Yay.
What is going on? What is like,
Ooh.
Mhm.
Oh.
it can be intense, and
So it's
it also could be to where the point you're like enticed to be around a person like this, but when those lows hit, mm,
baby, because they're gonna hit. They're gonna come down. So
So
like
go ahead. I'm
go ahead,
sorry, Demetri.
Michelle.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go
Oh,
ahead.
so like common warning signs for
mm,
mania is like you're more energetic,
mhm,
you're easily distracted, you're more talkative,
mm,
um, you're irritable, you can be irritable, spending money more freely, increased sex drive, uh,
ooh.
Mm.
elevated feelings of importance, easily distracted. Yeah, those are just a few. Anxiety, of
And I will
course.
add to that, less sleep. Like when I first, before I got my
Yes.
diagnosis, I could go 3, 4 days without sleep, and I'm not exaggerating.
Mhm.
I would still be hyped up, excited, and honestly, I had a little bit of promiscuity in my beginning, and just a sense of feeling like I knew everything was good. I knew everything was so floaty and bubbly, but like no. Mm,
Yeah. It's like a almost like a false sense of euphoria.
yes. Oh, that's a good way to put it.
A false sense of euphoria. You feel like you're on top of the world. You're so happy. Um,
And people may think, well, what's wrong with that? But like, there's danger to it because like you could be so excited and eager to, or elated or happy to where it's like you're not considering the danger. You're not considering what can come with this, or
right.
like even with promiscuity, like sexually or whatever, or just like
Mhm.
curiosity, it can lead you to danger sometimes if you're not in your right
True.
mind when you're
That's
not
true.
moving.
Right.
That's true.
You're quick to make hasty decisions.
Yeah. So our next talking point was about family and friends supporting someone living with bipolar without overstepping your boundaries. Now, Demetria, and I think you're comfortable if I share this.
Yeah.
Um, I never forget when, and I Lord, I don't want to get emotional on this thing, but I never forget when we were at state and I was calling your phone. I was calling your phone. I'm like, where is Demetri? Because I was like,
Blowing the
there's
back
something.
out my
I
phone.
was blowing the back off your phone, and I was calling you, and I was like, where is this girl? Like, did something happen to her? And it got so bad, I started calling your sister. I was texting and calling your sister, and then I guess like you had finally, got to a space of where you were, well, and you were
Well
able to,
enough.
yeah, well enough to communicate, and or like you were, and then or your sister shared with me, you were in the hospital, and I was like, oh my god, like what happened? But it was you were, dealing with your bipolar disorder. So
Yes.
how can family and friends support you? People that are dealing with this bipolar 1 or bipolar 2. How can people support and not be as judgmental, not as pushy, not doing too much? Like, how can we support you all in dealing with your diagnosis?
To be honest, for me, now this is me personally,
Yeah.
you have to teach the people around you the signs.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they
Mm-hmm.
don't know the signs, they don't know the help.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They don't know the help. And just like I just read off what the manic side is,
Mm-hmm.
the depression side, people can relate more to depression because everybody, I'm not gonna say everybody, majority of people have been through a depressed
Yes.
state.
Yeah,
Yes.
So
True.
they can relate, but this kind of depression,
it's different. It hit
it's
different,
different. It hit different. It's 1,000 times different.
and
So
you're.
it's
And I
kind of
just want people to know you're not in control. Like God knows if we can control it and hold it back and be a little more forthcoming about what's going on, we would. But sometimes when you're in it and you're really out of it, you're not medicated. You really think it's everybody else. Like it's
Mm.
gotta be everybody else tripping and not me. Like people are going against me or hating, but it's deeper than that.
And
y'all
it's
might see me laughing
mhm.
or like smiling when you talk, but that's only because for so long I've been holding this by myself, and to hear someone else talk about it, my peers, it's like freedom. It's just
You
like
know,
freedom.
because it's so
So
embarrassing sometimes to
yeah,
think
for
about. It
sure.
really is.
Mm.
Like,
Y'all
what do you
got my
mean?
attention with me.
Like, what do you mean I'm not in control of my emotions? What do you mean, like, I'm feeling these things and it's out of my hands, like it's driving me to do these things or be these things, and that's not me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And even um even with like when Demetrius saying, people around you being in tune with you, it's like I can kind of tell because like me and Demetrius tight. So I can tell when she's not good. So I'll ask like you good? Like, because it's like
Yeah.
it's certain things that I can pick up on. She'll be like up super early or
Mm-hmm.
texting me like super late, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you
Same,
supposed to be asleep during these
same
hours.
here.
Like,
And it's more so with my family, but I look forward to the friendship like that because I don't think my friendships that I hold space for today really know the depths of things. And,
mm,
they had their own lives going on and their own troubles. So I didn't really try to introduce it or force it. But man, it's so important when people can read you and know, like, okay, like, because you don't know what that's saving me from today. You don't know how many doses of medication I missed this day. Like, okay, maybe you saying that could, okay, check me and let me go take this
yeah,
medicine.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
for sure. And I think a lot of it is just we don't, as in our community, y'all know what we do. We ignore stuff till it go away, or we don't talk about things
Good.
in an open manner, which is why I'm very thankful. Again, I want to commend you both for hopping on here and sharing y'all stories, because we people dealing with stuff every day.
Mm.
People dealing with stuff
Hmm.
every day, and I think a lot of times in our community we put shame on stuff, or don't feel comfortable talking about it or sharing our truth. But this stuff is happening every day.
And I
And
think that's
so, yeah, go ahead, Nice. I'm sorry.
I think that's the only reason it pushes me to do this, because sometimes you'd rather just be quiet about it, deal with it on the lower end, and
Mm,
keep it undetected and go on with life. But what am I? Sometimes you gotta stop and think, like in the midst of the storm, like, what am I going through this for? Maybe it's not for me. Maybe I'm gonna get through this and be just fine. Maybe it's for the next person who really is struggling, don't know where to go from this, up from down. And like, if they hear it, maybe they could find the connection and get the support and the resources. Because like, also again, I went through my episodes at like 18, 19. So I was still under my parents' roof, my family. So, I was more inclined to listen and follow instruction, but some people may not be as fortunate. It may hit afterwards when you're on your own. And I just know my experience, like before it hit, I was done with my family. We had too much going on. I was ready to escape. I was ready to get my next check from my job and go ahead and book the cheapest airplane ticket to the next place, and I was going to go, and I was just going to wing it. I knew I'd be okay. But thank God for community, thank God for the way things happen, because I don't know where I'd be if things would have went the way I planned it.
Wow, y'all got me on this thing crying.
Oh.
So
you cry because I'm gonna start crying.
Let it out.
So y'all, what we were saying earlier, not actually to your point, when we're talking about cultural and societal, stigmas and judgmental things surrounding bipolar, how does that contribute to y'all choosing to be quiet about it? Like, people being judgmental, like, how does all this play a role in y'all wanting to choose silence and stay in those spaces?
What you got to say, Demetri? Because I know what I want to say.
Oh, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to be quiet about it. I wanted to get it under wraps as soon as possible, be normal, like fly under the radar. But I think I had 3 or 4 stints to where I ended up in the hospital at different years, back to back, about 2 to 3 weeks at a time. Court ordered, so I couldn't just leave when I wanted to. I had to stay and get better, and then, be supervised and then be able to leave. But wait, what was the question?
Just, how does society and community place, like,
And
judgmental on it? Yeah.
It was embarrassing because some people had knew about it, and I'm just speaking like from my perspective in Thomasville. Some people had knew about it. Like, I think at the time it was a word that I had got laced or something to that. So it was like just embarrassing altogether, because, when people hear things of the mental sort, you think people checked out forever. So sometimes when people see you and they get their own perspective and they're like, okay, you're good. Like, dang, okay, maybe she all right. But at first it wasn't that. And it was humiliating. I didn't know, like, I was in the middle of a relationship with a guy that I had really loved since like maybe second, third grade. We had grown up in school all together, and like we really started talking. And at the time I had started experimenting with weed and alcohol. So I don't know if that's something that had triggered it or not, but afterwards, you don't want to be seen like that with somebody that you're interested in. You don't want them to see you as someone who's like mentally ill or whatever label they want to put on it. So you try to do your best and come around and be normal and do all the things that you used to do but it can be too much. So like, I feel like people, if you can't be honest or have a safe space about it, like, ooh, it's going to be tough.
You know what that you said about the weed and alcohol?
Mm-hmm.
That I'm not no doctor, but that could possibly be something that started up, or either like,
because I'm learning that it's triggered through either genetics, like through your parents. If a parent, a mom or dad or auntie or uncle or grandma has it, you could get it. But also like societal pressures, like how things affect you could trigger it, and also drugs. Also, it's so many things that could be it. So you never really know what's the trigger. Gotta be careful.
Yeah. My
Because
mom.
when what your mama say?
My mom, she said you said something so powerful. The test is to bless somebody else. She was talking about what Naisha's comment.
It is, because you go through all this in vain if you don't share it or if you don't lend the next person something that they can lean on.
That's right. That's right.
And you know what? That's exactly why I did this. Because I would have like just been quiet about it and my family would have known, my close friends. But this is not for me.
It's not
This
for me.
is for anybody that watches this podcast
Mhm.
that has been diagnosed or may have warning signs of bipolar and can learn something.
Yeah.
And it's
This
almost
is
like
yeah.
imposter syndrome. Like you see yourself on the other side, but you see people still going through it. Like, why me? What was special about me that even if you still aren't to where you want to be, you're still to a place where you're of sound mind and you're conscious of what's going on. You're in tune, but like, dang, it's people. And for me personally, it's people that I know. Like I moved back to Thomasville recently, so like I see where people are here like hit with mental illness or like maybe out of their minds, walking the streets, talking to themselves and stuff like that. And it's like, I can't pretend that I ain't been there before because I have. And it just
Okay.
blesses me. It blesses me. So it's bipolar. I don't want to say it's all bad, like, oh, it's so traumatic because it is, but I gotta give it up to God into this mental illness because I wouldn't be who I was today without it. I thought I was so smart, so wise, knew this, knew that, didn't need nobody, didn't need, getting stuck in that zone, and I needed God to humble me. I needed it.
Mm,
I needed it.
wow.
Yeah. Um,
Mm.
Demetri, what were you saying? I'm sorry. I don't even.
Girl, she said it with that. She needed God to humble her, and I felt that.
She
I
did.
felt
Yes.
that
Yes.
because that's like with me, it all happened at once, and I did not know what hit me. I was 22 years old. It was my last semester in college. I was struggling with balancing relationships, college, work, finding out what I'm going to do after college. I had a
Mm,
lot of stress on me, and it just like a twig I just broke.
mhm.
And that was back in 2013. Here it is 2024. Like I'm still learning. I'm still growing about this diagnosis.
What signs did you
You
have?
it's
Like what? Because people, my mom always asked me like, when did you know it was like something like, okay, maybe I better get this under wraps. Like, what happens to say, okay, maybe hold on, let me take a step back and see what's going on. Like, what really hit you on the head? Like, that makes
my
sense.
mother,
Your mom?
my mom. That's like if I can remember correctly,
Uh,
that's who was like, wait a minute, mm, this ain't my daughter.
mm,
And I fought tooth and nails. I didn't want to be committed, but I needed to be. And
oh,
I'm glad she did do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, I don't know where I would be.
Mm.
Like she said, you see people walking the streets, talking to themselves and all that, and you know it's mental illness. And like you feel like I'm the lucky one because I have my medication. I did the work. I go to therapy.
mm,
I talk to my doctors. Somebody cared enough about me. Girl, mm-mm.
yeah.
If you need
It
if
just
you
hits
need to go
different because
ahead.
it just hits different because you wait for community sometimes, and whatever you're going through in life. Sometimes I
Yeah.
think we get so stuck in our heads to where we feel like we're the only ones. But I thank God for school and education and you and this platform because you begin to realize like, wow, it's hitting a lot of people. Like it's not just us. Like it's not this
Yeah.
one
Mhm.
person thing to where it's you and you're weird. No, baby, it's everybody. And
Yes, everybody out
learn
here
as
got
much as you
problems.
can. And I think that's the only thing because if it never hits another person, cool. But you may encounter someone who has this illness, who has this defect, or whatever you want to call it. And it'd be better if you could humble yourself in front of God. Remember, we're all still somebody that God created to love and to want them to have a good life and say, hey, maybe let me stop and see what I can do to be a blessing or to better understand because you don't know till you know. And when
Mhm.
you
Right.
know, you're gonna wish that you probably wish you could take it back. Same thing for me.
Mhm.
Like I grew up with knowing that like mental illness ran in my family, more so specifically schizophrenia, but I guess that gene skipped or whatever, but I ended up with bipolar. And if I would have known what I knew now, I would have never looked at some of the people in my family as like different, or never would have looked at people that I've seen at the gas stations begging like as less than me, because I'm not. And I know that my mind is borrowed. I know God done brought me back from some places, so I can't just credit it to the strength of me, because it ain't that. It ain't that.
It's not.
It ain't that. Mhm.
I think so Miss Ursula said I wish my oldest daughter would watch this.
That's
I
my
hope she
girl.
doing her own time. When she
That's
Miss
needs it,
Ursula,
it's gonna be here.
It's
yeah,
coming. It's
yeah.
coming. We just gotta keep praying on it. Stay
Mhm.
faithful about
Yes.
it. It's coming.
You know
It-
what? I I'm gonna share this, but like when I was in the hospital,
Uh-huh.
it was a s- it was a scripture. I don't know what book or chapter, but I kept reading it. I have a Christ-like mind,
Okay.
and I just kept just
Okay.
repeating it until I got out of there. Like because it's one thing when you really find out that he is in control.
Whew.
When you really
Because we
yeah,
think it's us. We think we running the show. We're not.
I mean,
Well, I wonder what the scripture was, because for me it was a J. Cole song. It was called Apparently, and I quote, I tattooed the scripture, I mean
I
the
love that
lyrics. This is my canvas on
mhm,
my, but
song.
I was so messed up. Really, the other song was Love Yours, but that
Oh,
was the one I remembered the most.
yes.
To this day, there is probably a mental hospital somewhere with the room, unless they painted over or went back through it with
Mhm.
whatever. I um I just carved the lyrics of the "Love Yours" into the wall, because you know, you don't have access in there to like music or your phone, or you can't really talk
No,
when you're ready. You
you
gotta
can't even have shoestrings.
Yeah, you can't have shoestrings, you can't have elastic in your sweatpants, you know, like, because
Mm-mm.
you may be doing all right and just getting it, but there are some people in there that you will encounter that will whoop your, or will spaz out on you, flip
Or hurt
tables.
themselves.
You know, it's a range of people in there going through their own battles. So yeah,
Mhm.
going through that and
wow.
mhm.
And honestly, Naisha, that song "Love Yours," I still listen to that song now, and it's just the lyrics just hit because, and I'm not trying to equate, anything I went
Yeah,
to, anything that y'all have experienced, but those lyrics hit so hard, based
different.
on what he was saying, and we're always, and things that y'all have touched on in this episode too, we always trying to promote ourselves or get ourselves to the next level, or we think that we're in control and we're not.
Mhm.
Ain't.
Mm-mm. Ain't
Ain't.
ain't And that's
Wow.
the thing, because man, I'm telling y'all, I wish I could better understand. I just didn't know enough. I was young and I knew a lot was going on, and I knew some people wanted to tell their story and couldn't or didn't feel ready or whatever the reason. But I remember just ready to escape Thomasville, everything that came with it,
Yeah.
friends, family included. But if when I went through this, had it not been for my family, like my cousins, my sisters, my mom, my stepdad, my aunties, I mean, the list goes on, classmates,
Mm-hmm.
to really pour into me and to tell me like, Naisha, I love you, I'm here for you. That's what kept me going. Because if you
Mm.
checked out like that, and I can't explain it to you unless you've been there, but when you checked out like that, man, you're gonna need something really strong to ground you and to make you think like, okay, baby, you gotta push through this. You gotta take your medication. You gotta
Yeah.
go to these doctor visits, these therapy visits.
Mhm.
You gotta put in the effort, because people
Yes.
sometimes see you later on in life and they're like, oh, you're doing so good. Like, girl, I'm
Yeah.
proud of you. Like, baby, you don't understand. If you only knew
You
what
don't
it's
know what I've
like,
been through.
Mm.
you just don't know.
Mm-mm.
Mm,
And my thing is, like just because you are medicated and you have been taking your medications and you do your therapy, you still have the symptoms. It's like any other illness.
Yeah.
Like the medication does just that, it medicates. Like it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
cure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So even
And
like I said, just letting your family and your friends know your symptoms, know your it's important to know that person's regular routine so that you know when they're acting out of character.
routines
Right.
is important to get through this.
Ru- Oh my gosh, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, like what I do is I write down what I want to get done that day. And if I get one thing done that day, I feel like I won.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
And did.
You gotta
feel
reward
like I
yourself.
won. Yeah, I gotta reward myself now because I did it.
Oh, and another thing before you go any further, the medication, because medication is a big difference for bipolar. You can live a pretty much the normal, almost undetected life on medication. But
Yeah.
what people need to understand is when you're medicated, it's not something that's keeping you sane and you in your right mind. Basically, what bipolar is when something bad or extreme is happening in a normal brain, like you encounter a hurricane, let's talk about things like that, or you encounter a bear in the middle of the woods on your hike, you feel that pressure that like I need to do something, I need to do something with this, I need to run, I need to flee, I need to fight. We have that, but our body doesn't know when to shut it off. So all day we're getting those triggers, we're
Mhm.
getting those symptoms, we're getting those signals to freak
Mm.
out, to obsess, to feel whatever that
You
feeling. I don't
feel
even know what to call it, but that feeling when you're
Like
feeling
fight
it,
or flight.
that fight or flight feeling. Like I
Yeah.
literally sometimes with me, if I'm off my medication for a day or two, if I miss a dose, I sweat. I'm a sweater, so like I'm sweating, and I'm like I could be chilling. I keep it it's 68 degrees in here. I keep it cold, so
Yeah.
like I'm sweating. I'm like, hold on, this ain't me. Like, so basically, on the medication, what it does is you have extreme highs on bipolar and you have extreme lows. People think it's just mad or sad or oh, she's being nice 1 minute, she's being
yeah.
it's the whole
No.
spectrum of emotions. You're feeling sad, you're feeling happy, you're feeling depression, you're feeling guilt, you're feeling
Mm.
sadness for the next person or whatever. So on the medication,
Mhm.
it keeps you from experiencing those high highs and those low lows. It keeps you
Okay.
in the middle.
Okay.
Keeps you in the sweet spot.
Keep you in the
That's what I
sweet
like
spot.
to call it. The
Yes.
sweet spot.
Yeah. My mom said, "Wow, you two are sharing some real life stuff. Bless up. I love y'all."
Thank you. We love
Thank you, Miss
you.
Miss
Kathy.
Ursula
We
said,
love you
"It's
too,
not
Miss
just y'all."
Kathy.
Miss Ursula said, "Girl." So I wanted to ask y'all. I know that both of you guys, you ladies have mentioned about medication and how you take different medication. How long is too long to be off your medication? Like, do you have a certain time frame, or do you just I'm pretty much I can go 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, how many ever days? How long can you go without your medication?
I'll let you go
You want to
first.
take this one?
Take this
You
one.
want
I'll
me to
go
go
after
first?
you if I need to add anything.
Okay. So, for me, I think it's 3 to 4 days. I can go 3 to 4 days. After day four, somebody come check on me because it's not. Somebody come check on me because I'm not okay.
I'm
I'm
struggling.
not all right. I'm not ready to go back to the hospital, but
No.
we need to get me medicated right back. We need to get me in that sweet spot
Yeah,
once again
yeah.
Yeah.
because that's where you live when that's your goal. That's the
Mhm.
goal, the sweet spot. And
Mhm.
not like the sweet spot makes you normal. You're never going to be normal. Nobody's normal.
Right.
Manageable. Manageable is a good
It's going to
word.
be manageable.
Mhm. Mhm.
And like, just like she said earlier, you have seasons. So like for her to know about seasons already, I'm so proud of her because like that's something that I learned later, like after therapy, years of therapy and stuff like that. So my seasons of depression, are your November, December, January.
Mm-hmm.
My manic behavior is somewhere around July, March. Like, so if you see me one day and I'm depressed and then come my birthday, I'm in Disneyland, come know.
You already know. Read the room.
You
Read
already
the
know.
room.
Not in Disneyland.
No, but
Come
seriously.
Okay.
know.
And then let me see. What about medication is cool. The only because it took some time. I will give some advice on that. I think we're
Mhm.
opposite. She started on something, and I started on something that she's on now, and neither of it worked for us. You got to find your
Yes.
concoction. That's what they'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
Your cocktail is what some of them will call it. I'm sorry, but they
Your
get like that
cocktail.
sometimes. But I had to find what worked for me, and then the concoction. I'm trying to make sure I cover everything. So getting on the medicine, finding out what worked for me.
So we were talking about, how long does it take before you kind of
Oh yeah.
like, okay, I didn't get on.
Personally, like she said, two or 3 days for me
Okay.
until where I start feeling that feeling. But honestly, the only time I will ever see myself, because bipolar is a lifelong journey, it's something you're gonna need to treat for life.
Mhm.
The only way I really see myself coming off of it or even attempting to or trying to is if I were to get pregnant. Outside of that, I feel like this is something I'm gonna need every day.
Yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, speaking of medication every day, if my doctor don't tell me to get off of that medicine, I'm on that medicine
I want to
because I
medicine.
already know what it does.
Period.
It is
I
what
already
it
know what it
is.
does when I don't take it.
It is what it is.
And spoiler
Yeah.
alert for those who do know or don't know, that cocktail changes every other year.
Mm.
Every other year.
Wow.
Yes, because your
Now
body
I've been on
changes.
mine. I've been on mine for about 4 or 5 years. I haven't had an episode since about 2018, 2019.
Okay. Good. That's awesome.
Thank
So that's
God.
like
So I've
seven
been on the
years.
same medications, and a lot of my doctors are even afraid to mess with it because some doctors that you see, like primary
Mhm.
care, are not the same as the doctor you'll need for a psychologist. Those are the ones who diagnose and
Mhm.
prescribe the medication. So if that's what you're looking into to try to find a nice medium for yourself to get through life, you need to look up psychologists. If you're looking for just therapy, someone to talk to. Because
Mhm.
I feel like maybe there are ranges of bipolar where you may not need the medicine. And if that's for you, just try to see therapy, get someone you can talk to so you can rely on.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know that you both have mentioned therapy and, operating in those spaces. So, um, what role does therapy play in managing bipolar disorder for long term?
Um, well, setting up primary care, doctors, psychologists, all those things. But
Mhm.
long term, I guess just giving me the language for it. Because at first, when you get the diagnosis and it hits you, or you have any speculation that something's going on, you're like, maybe it's just them, or maybe. But once it starts to make sense, and they give you the science behind why you're acting like this or that, and what you can do to change it, it's like, okay, you take the advice and you apply it, and when it's really working, it makes all the difference.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. That makes
When
sense.
everything works together. So, like, I look at therapy as the straw in my cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay,
Yes. You
good.
like
That's
how I
good.
did that?
Yeah.
oh,
Interesting.
that
Yes,
makes
it
sense.
go everything works together
Mm-hmm.
because for me, even though, like we said, we're medicated.
We're on the other
Like
side. We're
we
on the
on
other
yeah,
side.
we're on the other side. We don't know about that non-medicated. Although I have talked to other people and they said that there's holistic ways to treat bipolar disorder.
And that's what I've been looking for you. I used to inbox people who was on that holistic journeys and holistic medicine and stuff. I'd be like, is there anything, any spell? I'm not even gonna lie, because really another thing that saved me was Christianity, looking into that and getting strong in my faith. Outside of that, I was looking for anything. I was doing the crystal things. I was doing like the baths, the soaps, trying to find anything, anywhere, but that's what worked for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so, okay, so what are some misconceptions about bipolar? I think, by all of us being Black women, first of all, being Black, we all come from Black families. I think, going back to one of our previous points, I think that we don't, again, have open and honest conversations. We just be like, oh, she crazy. Like, girl, ain't nobody paying no mind. Like, she's, in the back room. But I think there is a lane for these conversations, because I think it's more common. I'm just being honest. I just think, in my opinion, I think, mental illness is more common in our communities, because we got a lot of different factors, y'all. And it's not just about, we come from low income, poverty, low education,
We can date it
or
back to slavery if we want to.
yeah, little to no access to resources, things like that. So I think a lot of these things have different factors when it comes to our mental health. So, in y'all's experience, I guess, like, what are some, misconceptions about being bipolar?
Naisha touched on it earlier about the whole, oh, she's happy one minute, she's sad the next. That's not bipolar. They might be schizophrenic.
Yeah. or just reckless in life, period, and don't care about nobody. Because some people like to write it off as that, and it's not that. This ain't that.
That's facts. That's facts.
And a lot of people, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say.
A lot of people can run it off as, oh, you're just lazy, or like, what else? You're just over emotional. Like, what? You think I chose this?
Right.
You think I chose this?
You think I chose this?
Yeah.
I trade with you.
Okay. To me, the way that I explain bipolar disorder to my friends or people that don't know, or like women, I'm like, imagine you being on your menstrual cycle all year. Because
Okay, and take it a step above. You got PCOS.
You got PCOS, Nice?
I don't have any cysts actively, but I go through. I could go a year without bleeding. I could go a whole year bleeding, unmedicated. So I have to stay on like birth control or something. So when it is time to have a baby or something, those are things I have to look into. But yes, I have PCOS.
So then,
ovarian syndrome.
Yeah. So how does all that like come into play with each other when it comes to your bipolar medication, your birth control? Like, how does all that kind of?
I keep it 100 with my doctors. I let them know everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm not doing.
Okay.
When God willing, I find me my man and we're ready to plan for kids or anything like that, they want me to go like 6 months to. I've talked, because when I got a question, I got 2 or 3 questions and a follow up.
Hello.
So they're like, oh yeah, you'll be fine. There no cysts for now. Thank God for me and my journey. But when it's time and you feel like you're ready, we'll take you off and we'll go through like 6 to 12 months of seeing what your fertility is like. If you're having bleeds, if you're having any positive tests, and we'll go from there. But they tell me about this freezing of eggs, which isn't too expensive. I've never really looked into it, but they say it's another option. So it's options out there if you want it. Oh yeah. Thank God for being born in this time now and having options.
Yeah. Miss Ursula said, I'm in here crying, but I'm so proud of you young ladies. Miss Ursula, thank you for watching. I'm praying for you and your family, and I hope that everybody can work through and get through this.
Amen.
Gotcha.
Amen.
Hey man, I'm praying for you, Miss Ursula. I love you.
Yes, we love you. Thank you.
Yes.
So I had one last question.
Okay.
This wasn't on our talking points, but so when you ladies are like, because I know y'all mentioned normal, but what is normal at this point? So in comparison to like the regular everyday routine that people have, when it comes to jobs and bills and everything else, how has bipolar or your diagnosis impacted your what we consider normal, our normal routines? If you would like to share. I love y'all too.
How has it impacted normal everyday life?
Yeah, like in a sense of like getting up, going to work, etc. Like how has it?
Um, for me, there are days when Mondays are hard for me. Also, I don't have kids. I live alone, so every day it can be hard. Some days if I don't have activity or schoolwork or something to get into, but
Mhm.
it impacts my day. I'm trying to pick just one thing to sum it up, but it affects the whole day. Like
Really?
just some days you wake up, like some days, especially Mondays, I can only tell you what I experience. I have this crippling anxiety on Mondays, like, oh God, am I gonna get and usually I do get things done. Usually I'm ahead of time, if not before, but I just have this feeling of, oh God, there's so much to do, so much to be done, so much I want to get done. Like
Mhm.
how can I balance this? How can I make it to where it's manageable and to where I'm not putting because a lot of people, I don't know if they know, but a lot of people are bipolar. Like,
Yeah.
Kanye is bipolar. Like, so
Kanye is
and
bipolar.
another thing he talks about, like, he doesn't like to take his medicine
Superhuman.
because it stunts your creativity. If you have anybody in your family who's bipolar, you probably know them as the creative person, the person who has all these ideas and wonderful, like, so it just bottom barrels it. Maybe not
Mm.
even bottom barrels it, but it just packs it all the way to where you're just like, as long as I can float through the day, I'm good. But a lot of days it's just like, oh God, I got this test coming up. I need to take care of my niece and my nephew this day. I need to go see my mom. I need to do, and it's just like you're overthinking
Mm.
it to the point to where it's like I can get sick to my stomach from it.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
What you got to say about that, Dimitri?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So it's kind of for me, my day, if I don't have something to do that day, forget about it. And like when I say forget about it, I mean really, I'm not leaving my house.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
what? Was it too real?
that
You
was
spoke to
too
her.
real. I'm so busy, obsessed with this one thing that I need to get done and get it perfect. I don't have time
Mhm.
for nothing else to think about nothing else. And I'm so sick
Nothing
about it.
else.
I just can't move.
Wow.
And
No joke.
it's to the point, even when like you were saying with your creativity,
Mhm.
like for those who don't know, I sometimes I make reefs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
my reefs are fire when I make them.
Ah,
And is
The
and
creativity
is hop in
is
her
the
inbox if you need a reef for these seasons coming up.
say less.
yes. So basically, like with bipolar disorder, let's say I got a reef that I'm making. If I
Mhm.
don't make it in that day,
You're
baby,
so hard on
I
yourself
have
or
to I have to
something.
push myself.
Mm.
I have to keep starting, keep pushing myself. That's what it is. You have to be your own cheerleader. And
Mm-hmm.
like I commend you for living on your own because you have to pick yourself up from the bootstraps by yourself.
Yeah, don't get it
Mm.
wrong, because I have my days, but I think people just I post and people see a lot of my mountain peaks and not my valleys, because
Mm.
Mm,
there are days when I can barely get up, barely, but um, you got to know when to hold them. You
You
got
better
to
do.
know, and there are some days where it's crippling. It really is like I have to call my mom, and I'm like, blowing up her phone back to back. And I hate to even admit this, but she can attest to this. There's some days where I don't know up from down and I just need to talk to my mom. I need to get it out and talk to somebody. Oh,
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, like, because I have a real therapist, but then I call my family my street therapist.
oh yes, I like that. You smart.
They're
You need
my
both.
street
You need both.
therapist.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need both.
And you need people. Like, that's
You
really
do.
what it comes down to.
And,
You can't live this life by yourself.
You
and
can.
Like,
then like
nobody,
I'm in
we're not
school right
meant to.
now. I've been where I stay, you can't be a student full time, which is whack. But I'm getting through it. I'm almost done with my little degree or big degree, whatever you want
I
to
was
call
about
it.
to say, we don't look
Yeah,
nothing over
yeah.
here.
It's big degree
I'm
over
almost
here.
finished with my big
Congratulations in
applied
advance.
science degree.
Yes.
And just my mom, and for as long as I can remember, people have always told me I was like smart or gifted or whatever. But I've been going through the school thing, and it has been a little difficult, mostly and mainly time management. But you need to push yourself also. I feel like that's a good thing because there were days in here, especially when I first started semester, I was like, I can't do this, mama. Like, I don't think or I don't have enough time to, or, just this building up all these excuses. But the more you practice, the more you put things into play, the more and you ain't got to push yourself extremely, even if it's just to get outside for that day to see 3 or 4 people or to say something nice to that person. It's building confidence. It's because I think bipolar took the biggest hit at my confidence in myself.
Yes.
Because it was like, dang, am I not okay to live through life? Am I not okay to feel these emotions and them to be real? It just really leaves you second guessing yourself. So whatever you can do to get outside of that and to build your confidence, I recommend.
You know what I had to do? I had to reinvent myself.
Oh, wow.
I kept trying to find who I was before the diagnosis, and that girl is gone.
She's gone.
She no longer.
And
She
you're
is
gonna be
gone. So I
mourning her
had to.
forever. I think people need to get comfortable with
Yes.
mourning stuff too, because we're gonna be mourning. Oh man. Oh man, you said something, Demetria.
Yeah,
Did.
I had to really look at myself in the mirror and take note of who I am now. And
Mm.
that's all you can do. All you can do is move forward.
Yeah.
You can't just hold on to the past. You can't wish it away. You can't try to make yourself what you used to be. No, because you're no longer that person.
Yeah.
Like, one thing, I mean, yes, Kanye West is bipolar,
Mhm.
but when he said that he was, what did he say?
Please
He
say
said,
that.
my bipolar is my superpower.
It's a
I said, oh my
superpower.
God, she is crazy.
People don't realize how many people are. People were also talking about on Facebook today about autism, but people don't realize how like smart and genius people with bipolar can be, and how you can take something this big and
Yeah.
stretch it and make it extreme and open all these new
Absolutely.
doors and levels for it. So it's like
Mhm.
when I was so embarrassed about bipolar diagnosis. I'm not going to lie to you. 2014, 2015, when I got my diagnosis, I thought the world was going to end. But when Kanye started speaking up about it and how he let that album out, I Hate Bipolar, it's awesome. Like, I started seeing
Yeah.
the beauty in it too. I was so stuck on how it
Mhm.
was leaving me so stagnant, how I couldn't
Mm.
be or give as much as I used to be, how I had to be so selective. Like, then I was like, wow, like I tried the unmedicated part like him too. It didn't work for me. And I don't know if it's working for him. I don't know what he got to say about it. Yeah, but man, it's beauty in the struggle as well.
It is. You know
Beauty.
what made me actually see that, okay, this is not a curse. This is not, you know, God, punishing me. When I found a way through my diagnosis to pay for my student loans, I said, God, drop the
Drop the charges.
charges.
Won't he work it out?
Let me do it.
Because without it, I don't think I'd be out on my own, living on my own. I don't think I'd be in school. Because I'm telling y'all, when I tried every single way to try to get into school, it would be like something every year from like 2014 to like 2019, I was trying everything, but it just won't work out. But hey, keep going.
Case dismissed.
Keep going.
Saved by grace. He dropped the charges.
The fact that I finished college and graduated on
You
time.
finished? Congratulations.
Thank you.
I got till July, so just pray for me. Pray for me.
We praying.
You gonna do
you
it?
gonna get
it's
there.
Already done.
Hello, and we need to be invited to the cookout because I know you're going to Miss Denise shots, and
we're gonna have to do something at Denisha's.
Wow, y'all, this was amazing.
Yeah.
I want to personally, first of all, commend you both for, again, your bravery, your honesty, your transparency, because again, y'all know we don't do stuff like this.
Taboo.
We don't talk about this.
Taboo.
We don't talk about stuff like this. So I just want to commend y'all and let you know that you are not the labels. You are beautiful Black women. You are powerful, and you're standing in your truth. And there's nothing more powerful than owning your story, telling your story for yourself. And I want to commend y'all for coming on here and sharing it, because everybody's not able. But my prayer for this episode was that, or for this episode, is that people are more comfortable in sharing their truth, whatever it looks like. I mean, because even with you ladies sharing about bipolar, we all got something to share somewhere.
We all got bipolar tendencies. Come on now.
Come on now. Come on now.
Sure.
So again, I just want to thank y'all for hopping on. I'm definitely gonna tag y'all on the post, so be ready for these reels that's gonna come on. Thank y'all for the viewers that are watching. Facebook probably watching, but I can't see Facebook on here. So if the comments are up here, I can't see them, but I'm gonna go back and watch everything. But thank y'all. Let me know if whenever y'all want to hop back on.
Yes, ma'am.
Again,
one more thing I want to say. I know times are different now. Some people don't get into the comment and liking and sharing or whatever things, but if you need any resources for bipolar, or if you're just diagnosed, you need therapy, you need medication, you need anything like that, my inbox is open to help you get some resources, especially in the local community, because I remember what it was like for me just starting out and how hard it was to get help. So I could be a resource for some people. So just let me know if you need any help. Don't feel comfortable commenting. My inbox is open.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What's up.
Yeah. Miss Denisha just texted me on my iPad. She said we don't want it to end. Miss Denisha.
What she said?
She said we don't want it to end. She wanted to stay on.
Okay.
Denisha, and make sure y'all following Denisha's Unhinged.
Please.
Like, share, subscribe. She already told y'all now. Ma, I know you watching, but make sure y'all sharing her shit now. That's what she said.
Go ahead now.
What she said, do comment, like, share, subscribe on the thing.
I'm taking a Facebook break.
God's will.
Yes. And period. So again, I love you both. I want to see y'all both flourish. I'm praying for y'all. I'm keeping y'all in my prayers, and anybody that is dealing with any type of mental health, anything, any type of whatever, abnormality, whatever, I'm praying for it. And I pray that we all are able to get to our highest version of ourselves. And I want to wish all y'all a good night, and y'all just keep going. And I will see y'all in the next video.
Yes, ma'am. Keep doing what you're doing, Miss Shalonda, and Straight Out the Podcast.
Thank you. I sure will. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.